Okay, we are moving right through this chapter, and we are on lesson 9.3, compare fractions with the same number. Looking at our Common Core standard, developing an understanding of fractions as numbers still. The lesson objective is to compare fractions with the same numerator by using models and reasoning strategies. So we're going to be drawing again and using fraction strips or circles. Our essential question is, how can you compare fractions with the same numerator? Our last lesson was comparing fractions with the same denominator, and we said that it was easy to do because all you had to do is look at the numerator. However, comparing fractions with the same numerator is a little bit different because your denominators are not going to be the same, so you're going to have to work them out, draw them out, and see which is greater than or less than. We're going to jump straight into our lesson today and looking at Go Math page 359. Josh is at Enzo's Pizza Palace. He's considered a table with 5 of his friends, or at a different table with 7 of his friends. The same size pizza is shared equally among the people at each table. At which table should Josh sit to get more pizza? Okay. Including Josh, how many friends will be sharing the pizza at each table? So at the first table there was 5 friends. If we add Josh to it, it'll be 6 friends. Don't forget to add poor Josh. And if he sits at the other table, it had 7 of his friends, and if we add Josh to it, it'll be 8 friends. Okay? And what is it you're going to compare are the sizes of pizza at the table. Okay? So at which table should Josh sit? The same size pizza is shared equally among people at each table. So we want to know the size of a piece of pizza. Okay, at each table. So we're going to model it. They drew us pizza A and they drew us pizza B. If you were going to be doing this on your own, you would need to do the drawing to be able to understand it. Okay, there are 6 friends sharing the pizza A, so that's at the first table. That's this guy. Okay, or 8 friends sharing pizza B, which is this guy. So they took the pizza and they divided it among how many people were at that table. So when it was asking us how many friends will be sharing the pizza, that gave us our denominator. Okay, so Josh will either get 1/6 of a pizza or 1/8 of a pizza, and he wants to know which one will be bigger. So on pizza A, we're going to shade 1/6, and on pizza B, you're going to shade 1/8. So which one, looking at those 2 that you just shaded, looks bigger? Okay, it looks like the 1/6 piece is bigger. You're getting 1 out of 6 pieces instead of 1 out of 8 pieces. So this one is just a little bit smaller than it is on pizza A. So if Josh wants to get a bigger piece of pizza, he should sit at the table that has the 5 friends. Remembering that we turned it to 6 as our denominator because we added Josh to that picture. Okay. Using the same pictures, let's look at the questions below. Which pizza has more pieces? So looking at our denominator, this one is split into 6 and this one is split into 8. So which pizza has more pieces would be pizza B because our denominator is 8. So it is divided into 8 pieces, but the more pieces a whole is divided into, the smaller the pieces are. There's more of them, but they are a smaller size. And if you look at pizza A, it has 6 pieces, so which pizza has fewer pieces is A. The fewer pieces a whole is divided into, the larger the pieces are. Okay? We're going to move to the next page, so page 360, and we are using fraction strips. If you need to, you can draw it also. On Saturday, the campers paddled 2/8 of their planned route down the river. On Sunday, they paddled 2/3 of their route down the river. On which day did the campers paddle farther? So you need to find the fraction strips for 1/8. And then you need to find the fraction strips for the thirds. And we're going to compare 2/8 to 2/3. So I'm going to shade 2/8 here to show that fraction. Okay, and then 2/3 to show that fraction. Okay, it wants you to place a check mark next to the fraction strips that show more parts of a whole. So which one had more parts would be the 1/8 piece. Because there are 8 pieces there. Because 8/8 is equal to 1, and 3/3 equals 1. So there are more pieces with the 8s than there are with the thirds. Okay? So now you shaded them and compare the shaded parts. Which one had more pieces that are shaded? Larger pieces is 2/3. So the campers paddled further on Sunday. Okay, the next piece. For her class party, Becky baked 2 cakes that were the same size. After the party, she had 3/4 of a carrot cake and 3/6 of an apple cake left over. Was more carrot cake or more apple cake left over? So you're going to compare 3/4 and 3/6. Since the numerators are the same, look at the denominator and compare the size of the pieces. So that's why they had us figure out on the other page, we go back, looking at this piece. So the more pieces in the whole, the smaller pieces they are, the bigger pieces. Okay, so we're going to look at how they do this. The more pieces of a whole is divided into the smaller the pieces are. Okay, and the fewer pieces of a whole is divided the larger the pieces are. So 1/4 is larger than 1/6 because there are fewer pieces. Okay, so we're looking at just comparing those 1/4 and 1/6. We know that the 1/4 is going to be bigger because there are fewer pieces. So if we look at 3/4 and 3/6, you know that the pieces are being compared. You can think of it this way, that 3/4 is going to be bigger than 3/6. So there was more carrot cake left over. If you're not quite sure of that, you could draw those and cut the first one into 4ths and color 3 of the pieces. And then cut your second one into 6ths and color, ooh, that was bad. I'm going to cut it into 6ths, a little bit better, still not quite even, and you're going to color 3 of them. Okay. And then compare them. You'll see that this one is bigger. Okay, on your next page, we're going to start with our show and share, or share and show, page 361. Shade the models to show 1/6 and 1/4. So here's our models. We have 1/6 and we have 1/4. So which one is having more color would be 1/4. Compare, writing greater than, less than, or equal to. So 1/3 and 1/8. Thinking about the rule that we just said, the fewer pieces, the bigger they are. So 3 is smaller than 8, so it's going to be bigger pieces. Number 3, 3/4 and 3/8. 4 is smaller than 8, so those pieces are going to be bigger. 2/6 and 2/3, which of your denominators is smaller? You'll know that 3 is smaller than 6, so those pieces are actually going to be bigger. It's kind of opposite in your mind. And 4/8 to 4/4, 4 is smaller, so those pieces are going to be bigger. 3/6 to 3/6 is equal. And this one they're going to try to make you think. Remember what I said about any number being over itself is equal to 1. I believe this was in our introduction lesson. We talked about improper fractions of the numerator being bigger than the denominator. And if you know your math facts, you automatically know that 8 is twice as big as 4. So this is actually equal to the whole number of 2. So you can think of it that way. You can also just keep looking at the numerator, that 4 is smaller than 8, so then that one would be also bigger in that thought process. Okay? Since halves are larger pieces than fourths, there are the same number of pieces of each fraction of 1/2 is greater than 1/4 for your math talk. Okay? The next piece is all on your own, comparing. That's just what we just did together. And does it make sense or not? James ate 3/4 of his pancake. David ate 2/3 of his pancake. Both pancakes are the same size. Who ate more pizza? James says he knows he ate more because he looked at the amounts left. Does this answer make sense? Shade the models and then explain. Okay, so first start by shading the models and then compare them and see if James' explanation makes sense and why. And then you have the next page, 362. You have an unlock the problem and 2 other problem solving to try to work through. Remember to underline your important numbers, circle your questions so that you know what you're looking for, and then use that great graphic model to help you solve those problems. Always, always, always feel free to draw pictures and use your number of fraction strips. If you use your fraction strips, just sketch a picture of it real quick so I can see that that's how you did it. For your journal today, your essential question was how can you compare fractions with the same numerator? Knowing that your numerator is your top number, what did we do in order to compare those? And then your math journal, explain how the size of pieces in a number, in a whole number, in a whole relates to the size of each piece. Okay, so you're picking apart what a fraction means. So explain how the number of pieces in a whole relates to the size of each piece. Which one was smaller, which one was bigger. That was on 2 of the pages that they had us fill that in. It's on a green box on page 360 and on the bottom of page 359. So if you can remember those rules, the more pieces a whole is divided into, the smaller the pieces are, then you will be able to quickly solve these without really having to draw them out a whole lot. Check the board to see what other activities you need to do today, and then continue working on those other activities that are in the bucket for you. If you did not understand something, go back and review those rules. Make sure that you understand what the rule is telling you, and always go back and watch the video if you need to. We can conference about any skills that you don't understand and try to help you with those. I will see you for the next lesson.